GPS, no maps. How did ancient Chinese travel without getting lost? Back in Qing Dynasty China, they built a massive road network called Chidao. It was so wide, it looked like today's airport runways. Official roads were divided into 3 levels: main highways, regional roads, and local roads connecting every corner of the empire. As the ancient people said,
to hold an empire together, you first need to build in highways.
But how did ancient travelers know the roads? Starting in the Song Dynasty, ancient people had travel books, which included maps, mileage, post station, shops, and even warnings about wild animals or robbers. So no GPS, no problem. Ancient Chinese were travel geniuses. I'm Jiemo. Have a nice trip. It's so cold! How did ancient Chinese people stay warm in winter? It wasn't just fire. First, they used campfires, simple and effective. But as time went on, they upgraded to fire pits. By the Qing and Han dynasties, people in northern China had fire wars.
Emperors kept warm with a heating system that felt like the central AC of their era.
If they wanted warmth anytime, anywhere, ancient people had hand warmers. It's kind of like today's power banks.
How about for bedtime?
They had a tangpozi, basically a hot water bottle, and it kept you warm all night. No toothpaste, no toothbrush. How did the ancient Chinese brush their teeth? Actually, ancient Chinese care a lot about their teeth. But instead of brushing, they mostly rinsed. The most common way was in using salt water. I always do this too. During the Tang Dynasty, they used the willow branches. But what if there were no branches? They used their fingers. I tried doing that too, but obviously, I'm not used to it. By the Song Dynasty, they invented real toothbrushes made with horsehair. But what about the toothpaste? They used herbs like ginger and soapberry, cleaning teeth and fighting bad breath. Today's malls aren't just about shopping. You can eat, drink, and even relax. But how did ancient people in China go shopping? In ancient Chang'an, there were 2 main markets: East Market for luxury goods and West Market for more affordable items. Even a section for Silk Road imports. This was totally the shopping paradise of ancient times. And did you know, ancient China even had shopping festivals called temple markets? A 17-year-old talented woman from the northern Song Dynasty, Li Qingzhao, met the love of her life at a temple market. They eventually married, and their love story became legendary. If you could travel back to ancient times, explore the markets. Everyone loves traveling, right? But how people used to travel in ancient China? Travel wasn't easy, but they made it work. Both was a top choice: cozy, spacious, and budget-friendly, like ancient RVs. But I don't have both. So the second option was to rent a horse for just a few coins or go on foot. Ancient travelers loved big cities, nature wonders, and historic landmarks. But in ancient times, travel wasn't just for fun. Some even did it for scientific exploration. The most famous example is Xu Xiake. He traveled across China, and his work, Xu Xiake's Travels, is not only a famous travel book,
but also a geographic work.
So, whether it's Asian people or us today, the journey to distant places is always the soul's direction. Did you agree? I'm Jiemo. Have a nice trip.
Ancient Chinese wisdom.
No GPS, no maps. How did ancient Chinese travelers avoid getting lost? In ancient China, they planted trees along the roads to help the travelers find their way. But how did they know how far they'd traveled? Every 30 miles, there was a post station and mile markers called to measure the distance, and even had prayers for children's safety.
Please protect children from harm and disaster.
After the Grand Canal was built, traveling by boat meant they didn't have to worry about getting lost. Ancient Chinese had some clever solutions. Pretty amazing, right? I'm Jiemo. Have a nice trip. Did you know that ancient Chinese also kept pets? And it wasn't just cats and dogs, but the first pets were dogs. In the Qing Dynasty, Empress daughter Cixi was famous for her love of dogs. She set up a special dog area where her dogs ate beef and venison, and had eunuchs waiting on them. They were treated better than humans. What about cats? Ancient Chinese also kept cats, and they were highly regarded. During sacrificial ceremonies, cats were even carried out trout as the main stars. There's one special kind of pet you'll never guess. Turtles. If the turtle stayed alive, the water was safe. If the turtle died, the water was probably polluted. They were water quality testers. You have this right? But did you know what ancient Chinese passports look like? The earliest travel documents was a jie, a long bamboo stick. It represents honor and status. By the Tang Dynasty, things like
过祖 pass
were already similar to today's passports. It wasn't until 1877 that China issued its first true modern passport, marking the birth of Chinese passports. From bamboo sticks to modern passports, every journey we make carries this history. Even if you've never been to China, you definitely know Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen. But was this popular travel destination in ancient China too? The capital of the Song Dynasty, Qing was the largest tourist city. The Lantern Festival was a huge deal. The streets were filled with the scent of perfume from young ladies, and even the air was sweet. The Song Dynasty really know how to travel. They went to Luoyang to visit the Pyrenees Festival and to Hangzhou to tour West Lake. Which popular attraction would you love to visit? I'm Jiemo. Have a nice trip. I'm crying because I can't handle spicy foods. But did you know when ancient Chinese started eating chili peppers? Actually, they didn't. Instead, they used Sichuan peppercorns and ginger for spice. In the Tang Dynasty, they were in over a third of all dishes. Then, in the late Ming Dynasty, chili peppers arrived in China, but not for eating, just as decorative plants. So today, which part of China is the spiciest food? First place, Sichuan. Second place, Hunan. Third place, Hubei. Guangdong is the mightiest. I was probably a Cantonese in my past life. But where is the China's spicy chili pepper from? Not Sichuan, it's Hainan's yellow lantern chili. I tried it once. But the world's spiciest chili is America's Carolina Reaper. Yeah, I'm never trying that. So how spicy can you handle? Did you know how many meals people had in ancient China? People in the Shang Dynasty ate only 2 meals. In the morning, around 8 a.m., we call this time period 大食, and in the afternoon, around 4 p.m., it was 小食. But was 2 meals a day really enough? In the Tang Dynasty, they added a small meal at noon, which was the early version of lunch. But only the rich could afford this. During the Song Dynasty, business was booming, so some people even ate 4 meals a day. But Emperor Kangxi, a manchu ruler, stuck to 2 meals a day.
2 meals a day is enough.
I totally agree. It's make easier to digest. I'm Jiemo. High five! When you think of Chinese food, you probably think of stir fry. But the truth is, it became popular much later than you think. In ancient China, people mainly ate boiled and roasted foods. There's even a famous Tang Dynasty menu that still remember today: roasted shrimp, roasted quail, roasted lamb tongue, and roasted venison tongue. We say 烧尾宴. I wanna eat it. So how did stir frying become popular? It wasn't until the Song Dynasty it became the most popular way to cook and has lasted until today. That's right, 2 eggs, 2 tomatoes, garlic, a quick stir fry. Then you'll have a classic Chinese dish. Hey, I hope you like it. Without sanitary pads, what did ancient Chinese women do when they had their periods? They used something called a nucleus, 月事布, and was filled with ash from burnt wood. It could absorb moisture and kill germs, but you couldn't just buy one. It was passed down from mother to daughter. Women had to wash it in secret, and some husbands never even knew it because people thought it could bring all sorts of bad luck. In the royal palace, if a concubine had her period, she'd mark a dot on her dimple as a signal, not to be visited by the emperor. When I was young, getting your period felt shameful, but now every woman should reject period shame. Let's face our bodies with confidence. This is my meal. This is a meal of ancient Chinese emperors. How many dishes did emperors eat in a day? The Qing Dynasty, emperor only had 2 main meals a day. Breakfast was from 6 to 8:30 a.m. and dinner from 12 to 2 p.m. Each meal had at least 120 dishes, filling up 3 big tables. Empress Dowager Cixi could even have 200 dishes dishes in one meal, which is about $5,000. I don't believe. But can they finish all this food? Of course not. Most dishes are just tasted a little, and the rest is given to eunuchs, concubines, and favors. I can't take it anymore. I want to join them.
Subscribe!
This is where I live, and this is where ancient Chinese people lived. So, how big were their houses? Back in the Tang Dynasty, the government actually gave people land for free. A family of 3 could get 1 mu of land. That's over 500 square meters today, bigger than a lot of modern villas. Plus, this was for rural areas. City homes were smaller. A regular family's house had 5 rooms, 171 square meters if you count the yard. But wait, here comes a real mansion. Poet Bai Juyi's house had a pond, bamboo forest, and even a little bridge. Total area about 18,800 square meters. Basically a private park. So in ancient China, I don't think I'd even qualify as an average citizen. Could ancient Chinese live to 800 years old? But the truth might shock you. This guy called Peng Zu, who is said to have lived 800 years. That was rare. Here's the average lifespan in ancient China. Pre-Qing, 18 years old. Han Dynasty, 22. Tang Dynasty, 27. Song Dynasty, 30. Emperor Qianlong had 17 sons, and 7 of them didn't live past 8 years old. Why were lifespans so short? Wars, famines, natural disasters, and terrible medical conditions were all waiting for them. Last year, I got bitten by a dog. If I lived in ancient times, you probably wouldn't see me here. When I woke up in bed, I'm really curious about what ancient Chinese baths look like. In ancient China, we had couches, luohan baths, canopy baths, and babu baths. But they weren't just for sleeping. The couches appeared during the Western Han Dynasty. You could sit, lie down, or lounge on it. It was also used to entertain guests. But that wasn't enough. The canopy bed, with 4 pillars and intricate carvings. But the most luxurious one was a babu bed. You could put tables. There was space for a toilet or wash basin. It was basically a little room with its own bathroom, but only big houses could fit one. So it became a symbol of wealth and status. Sleeping, that's not our problem.
Subscribe!
Did you know what did an ancient Chinese emperor do in a day? I decided to live a day as Emperor Kangxi. 5 a.m. Wake up, wash up, get dressed, and tie my braids. After that, it's time to read the secret edicts. They were life lessons from past emperors. 6 a.m. Breakfast. How much food does an emperor eat? Dozens, even hundreds of dishes. 7 a.m. Morning court session. It's basically a big government meeting. I hate meeting. 9 a.m. Study time. The emperor had to study a ton of ancient texts. Since the workload was crazy, he had multiple teachers. Kangxi was super hardworking. He never skipped class. 11 a.m. Reviewing reports. Basically handing government work. 2 p.m. Dinner time. Yay! The table is filled with hundreds of dishes, but only take 3 bites of each to prevent poisoning. At 8 p.m., the emperor is supposed to rest, but here's the rule. Afterward, the concubine must be carried back to her own palace. No one is allowed to stay overnight, and the emperor, he sleeps alone in his royal bed. So, did you still want to be an emperor? I don't want. I'm eating an apple in the bathroom because I'm really curious about how ancient Chinese used the toilet. In the Han Dynasty, toilets were usually built at a high spot behind the house. They were connected to the pig pen, so the waste could directly turn into pig food and fertilizer. This was like Asian recycling. But wait, it gets better. This is Asian toilet. We say 虎子 works for guys and girls. But what did they use to, wipe? They used something called a toilet stick. Using it was kind of like eating ice cream with a wooden spoon. They didn't start using paper until the Yuan dynasty. There's even a story about a royal concubine who tested the softness of toilet paper on her own face to take care of her mother-in-law. To be honest, I'm a bit shocked. Did you know why did ancient Chinese kneel when they met? Actually, in the beginning, kneeling had nothing to do with hierarchy. In the pre-Qing period, people sat on the ground with their knees down. This posture is similar to how people sit in Japan and Korea today. This was a way to show mutual respect. But I wonder, did their knees make a cracking some like mine? In the Song dynasty, chairs became common, but in the Yuan dynasty, everything changed. Emperors even demanded foreign envoys to kneel. This led to major diplomatic conflicts. The British envoys Mark Tony refused to kneel, and things got really awkward with Emperor Qianlong. After the Xinhai Revolution, the kneeling ritual was abolished.
Yeah, I really like cheers.
Is this an Asian pillow? Why did Asian Chinese like high and hard pillows? Where these hard pillows were made from materials like bamboo, wood, stone, ceramics, or metal. Sounds uncomfortable, right? Actually, they weren't placed directly under your head, but under your neck. They provided support for your neck. There's even an interesting thing that a longevity pillow is about 9 centimeters high and helped keep hairstyles intact and protected people's hairdos. There was also a special type of pillow called a warning pillow to prevent people from sleeping too deeply, helping them stay alert and avoid wasting time. There's also a trick. The pillow could be used to hide valuables, like an ancient safe.